Is this confusing you a little bit, this setup?
All these cameras. Don't know which one I'm supposed to be looking at.
Must be exciting for you to be next to a famous person on television.
It is, it's very exciting. I don't do this every night, you know.
No, I do, unfortunately. No, you were probably wondering what we were looking at. George saw the lights go on over the cameras, which gave me the lead into the commercial. Actually, I don't think the audience at home cares what we're looking at. I mean, they're more interested in what we think.
Well, I want to know what's looking at me, really. You know, I'd like to check it out. There he is.
You don't have to. They always say you don't have to worry about what camera's on; that they'll find you.
Yes.
That's how I.
Big Brother is watching you.
Whatever. Yoko sat in that very chair.
Well, I bet many people have sat in this.
Well, a lot of people have sat in it, but I was just thinking...
I saw the show. It was very nice.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one thing they forgot to plug, so I thought I'd plug it for them, and that's their new Christmas record. We wish you Merry Christmas, war is over. Get yours now. Thank you.
Is there such a record?
Yes, he made it after he was on the show, so he didn't get a chance to talk about it.
Oh. Is there a slight undercurrent of hostility between you and other members
really,
of your... No, you can
John,
tell me. I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not going to tell anybody.
No, I just thought I'd take the opportunity and promote his record for him. Mm-hmm. War is over if you want it. Happy Christmas.
Yeah.
Apple Records.
Well, are you in any sense in contact with each other? I mean...
Yeah, I saw him last night, actually, at the premiere of Raga, which is what we should talk about, maybe.
Okay. But, I mean, what did you say?
I said, hi, hello.
Yeah. Do you have writers who think of these things, or do you just have them ready and you can just snap them right out like that?
We have writers home,
and
rooms full of them.
What did he come back with right away?
With, hi.
Yeah? Gee, this ought to be... was there more, or did that just go on? That's pretty good.
You've got real boring people, you know, to talk to on your show. I'm probably the biggest bore you've ever had on the show.
Really? Mm. You think?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be the judge of that. Listen, I'll tell you.
Well, I don't really, you know, they asked me, do you want to come on the Dick Cavett show? And I said, yeah, I got nothing to talk about, really.
Yeah.
They said, well, think of something, you know, anything. So I thought, okay, we'll go and talk about Raga, which is...
film. Mm. Mm-hmm. You mean that's it? When we're done talking about that, then...
Then I go.
You don't like to talk, then?
Well... Not really. Sometimes, if there's something to say, but there's really nothing to say these days.
You know, I have that feeling, too. People think that I must love to talk and that I would love to go to parties and yak my head off. And I could go for months without talking.
Well, you talk every night, don't you?
I know, and I've never liked it. I mean, I don't crave conversation. I could sit in an empty room for days and days. I'd have to leave occasionally, but not to talk. I mean, in other words, I don't have a terrific appetite for talking. The reason I'm rattling on like this is that you've just frightened me by telling me that you don't like to talk. And I figure I may have to, will I have to fill then this last hour
You
of the
just
show?
talk and I'll watch.
Okay, well, we will. Let's talk about the film. And then, well, before we get to that, though, since we may run out.
Let's get to something else.
When you... If you and John and Yoko do meet, though, you're not really gritting your teeth.
No, we're good friends.
Yeah. Well, all of that about her being the problem with the group, is that slightly silly that one woman could be so much of a problem?
No, the group had problems long before Yoko came along. Mm-hmm. Many problems, folks.
Can you remember who was the first to say, you know, I bet we'll break up one day, that this won't go on, that this is sort of a dream, that we can't all stick together?
I don't really remember anything about the Beatles days. It seems like a sort of, you know, previous incarnation when I think about it.
And a long time ago, like another life?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you regret any of it?
No. Don't regret really anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happened and it was good, you know, it was good, but it was also good to carry on, do something else. In fact, it was a relief.
Sometimes they say
some people can't understand that, you know, because Beatles was such a big deal. They can't understand why we should actually enjoy splitting up. But there's a time, you know, there's a time when people grow up and they leave home or whatever they do, and they go for a change, you know, and it was really time for a change.
Don't you think a lot of people just envied the idea of being world celebrities, though? And being
well, some people, you know, would go on and on forever, singing the same tune and playing the same gig, if they were making some money, you know.
Yeah.
But I think we'd all rather give that up and try going on our own and try doing something we really want to do. And if we don't make it, then hard luck. But as it happens, we've all got such a lot of like goodwill hanging over from being Beatles.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably wouldn't have me on the show if I hadn't have been one. Let's face it.
No, you wouldn't get here on looks alone. Do you,
we will return after this message
from
our local station.
Just because that comes on doesn't mean you have to do it right away.
Oh.
Do you feel like doing it now?
I just did it.
Oh, right.
Oh, I see. 4 or 5 minutes.
We will.
4 and 5.
He's right, folks. We will return after this message from our local station. See, when you say it, then you know. Talking with George Harrison, who wants to know if it's over yet. Do you think you might have been the most anxious of the 4 to get out? I get that impression from reading about it.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I wonder
it was
why.
well, because over the years, you know, I had such a lot of songs mounting up that I really wanted to do, but I only got my quota of 1 or 2 tunes per album. And that way I would have had to have recorded about 100 Beatle albums just to get out the tunes I had in 1965.
Were you held down by the other fellas?
Well, very subtly, yes.
Yeah? How would they
not
do
really,
it? I mean,
they didn't strap me down or anything like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was just the way things happened, you know. It started off I didn't write, they wrote, then I started to write, and it was sort of trying to push in a bit.
You don't actually read or write music, do you?
No.
Well, then when you say write,
well, write.
If you have a tune that hits you, how do you get it down?
Just keep it in your head, you know. Just work it out on the piano or on the guitar.
But then do you tape it, or what preserves it?
Sometimes put it on tape. But usually you can remember it in your head if you don't. I mean, I write the words down and remember the tune in my head.
Yeah. Do you wish you'd studied composition and all of that? You don't need it.
Well, maybe it would help somewhere. I probably wouldn't have to pay a copyist.
Yeah, but you don't miss it. I mean, you can.
No.
It would just help. Maybe
because it's not really
so.
sort of music, you know.
Yeah.
It's like I mean, there's a difference between people who write music and classical things and big arrangements to the sort of thing I do. It's just really very simple.
And the other guys, most of the melodies were John's or Paul's that were done. Done on the album.
That was funny when John was on. Every time you had a commercial break, and then it came back part 20, and they keep playing Paul's songs.
Just to put our guests at ease, I guess, is what we do. But they always talk about you as the real musician of the group, and if you haven't studied music. What do they mean by that? That you're more serious about music? You've seen that, though, haven't you? That they say.
Probably because I didn't smile so much.
To be a real musician, you have to be sour, I suppose.
Yeah.
There was also the theory that you attracted more girls by being the quiet one, in the same sense that a guy at a party who sits in the corner will have the girl come over and say, "Oh, what's the matter?"
It's just
this was not a calculated
dirty rumor
philosophy on your part. Was it?
Just a rumor, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Paul used to get them all with his, you know.
Do nerves hit you badly?
Terrible. Sometimes I sit down, like before the show, and try and figure out what it is inside that starts all this tension.
Where's it coming from?
I don't know, no idea. Otherwise I could control it.
They used to say that's a way to get rid of tension, is if you can try to sit down and think exactly where it is. Is it in your stomach, or what gives you that wave through the stomach?
No, it comes from everywhere all at the same time. That's the problem. You can't, it's sort of abstract somehow, nerves. Well, the way nerves act upon you. Yeah.
Does any kind of meditation help before
yes, but I mean, that's a sort of different thing, you know, to this. I mean, you can't, you could meditate and get peaceful, but then the moment they say, the Dick Cavett Show, and then there you are again. So...
Does this happen when you're watching the show, or just when you're...
Yeah. Yes, it does. Just thinking about it, you know.
I didn't know. I've probably given you the beginnings of an ulcer.
Yes.
So you wouldn't use meditation as a tool to calming you down as the most important thing. I think that's why some people go into it, though. They just say, I've tried everything. I take tablets.
I mean, maybe I'm more calm now than I would have been a few years ago. I don't know. But it's still, there's still something about the idea of this, you know, Big Brother and all them people tuned in. Okay, what's he going to say?
Yeah.
Look at it. You know. And so, you know, you don't... we have to take a station break.
And what? And what else?
And sell some more oranges.
No, read the whole thing.
And we'll be back.
That's the important part.